the show, everybody. Come on into the closet. I've got a lot to talk to you about today. Really quick side note, though. If you decide for whatever reason that you would like to compliment me, you don't need to add in a non-creepy way to the end of your compliments. You don't need to say, I love you, in a non-creepy way. You can just kind of cut out the in a non-creepy way, because if you say you love me, I'm not going to assume that you're going to show up on my doorstep with roses and a machete. I'm just not going to go there. I probably have a bit too much faith in humanity for thinking that way, but nevertheless I do. So you don't need to add in a non-creepy way to the end of your compliments. I kind of put it in there for you. How about that? But enough about that. We need to get started because, holy shit. We're going to take a look at a couple of clips now. The first one is from the episode City on the Edge of Forever. And it was the 28th episode of Season 1, so it was almost the end of Season 1. And this is considered to be the best episode of Star Trek among the general Star Trek fan population. This is considered to be the best. And one of the things that happens in this episode is that Kirk meets a woman named Edith Keeler, and they fall in love, and their love story is part of the plot. And we're going to take a look at a clip from after where they've fallen for each other and everything. And we're going to take a look at this clip where they're walking down the street and they're just talking. So, I'm shutting up. Watch.
Did you do something wrong? Are you afraid of something? Whatever it is, let me help.
Let me help. 100 years or so from now, I believe, a famous novelist will write a classic using that theme. He'll recommend those 3 words even over I love you.
That's a nice sentiment, actually. That let me help would be more of a romantic declaration than I love you. That is a really nice thought, and it makes sense when you think about it. And that's clearly one of the things we're supposed to get with that little clip, and which, therefore suggests that by Edith saying, let me help, that her feelings for Kirk are just that great. And that's one of the things we're supposed to get with the scene. It also sets up a very interesting precedent, because then we can look out for if anybody says, let me help in the future. Because that's just what this bit sets up a precedent, so that we can look for it in future episodes. This happens quite often in Star Trek. It happened in episode 7 of Season 1, actually, in Charlie X, when Charlie asks Kirk, well, what do you do when you actually like a girl? And Kirk says, quote, you go slow, you be gentle, unquote. And we see him taking his own advice in City on the Edge of Forever. When he falls for Edith, he goes slow, he's gentle, and it's one of the signs we get that he actually has a genuine feeling for her, and he fulfilled the precedent. And this is no different. This is no different. This is the let me help precedent, really. So we could really keep an eye out for anybody who uses it in the future. Now this next clip comes from Operation Annihilate, which is the next episode. City on the Edge of Forever was episode 28. This is episode 29, the last episode in the season. And I don't really think I need to explain this one very much, actually. Just look at it. See if you notice anything.
It wants this ship, but I am resisting.
Can he control it the way he says, Bones?
Who knows, Jim? I know the amount of pain the creature can inflict upon him. But whether he can control it hour to hour...
I have my own will, Captain. Let me help.
Whoa, okay, so hold on. Let me get this straight. Edith says, let me help. It's established that let me help is supposed to be more romantic and more meaningful than I love you. Spock says, let me help to Kirk. And I had to start this show to talk about Kirk and Spock being in love with each other because I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. But as far as this is concerned, you can't really argue your way out of this one. This isn't about interpretations and just wishing really, really hard. No, this is right in front of you. This just happened. And it kind of bitch slaps you a little bit, to be honest. It's a little bit of a backhand, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, we know that Spock was talking directly to Kirk, because he says, I have my own will, Captain. There's none of this, I have my own will, fellas. Like, nothing that could indicate that he's talking to both of them at the same time. It is let me help, Captain. He's talking to Kirk. Very specifically, he says, let me help, to Kirk. Can't really get around that one. And then we know that the implication is the same. The romantic implication is the same because it's a romantic precedent. I mean, the whole point of the precedent is, okay, now, you'll know when one character is really in love with another when they say, let me help. I mean, that's the whole point. And so then Spock says, let me help to Kirk. We're given no indication that when Edith says, let me help to Kirk, it means romance and woo. But magically, when Spock says, let me help to Kirk, it couldn't possibly be romantic because then they'd be in love with each other and that's just too gay. Like, we're given nothing, no reason to think that. None. It's the same thing. It's the same implication. When they both say it, it means the same thing. Like, that's the whole point of the precedent. And if another woman had said, let me help to Kirk, would there be any doubt about the romantic implication? No. But yet, it wasn't another woman who said, let me help. It was Spock. Yeah. It was Spock. Mm-hmm. And whether or not he knew the meaning of let me help at the time he said it is completely irrelevant because Edith didn't know when she said it. And yet, we drew that conclusion. Because, I mean, it still makes total sense. So whether or not he knew is completely irrelevant. This was actually a really, really brilliant, brilliant way to get one character to confess their love. Well, okay, no, not so much confess. Flip that, reverse it. This was a way to get the message across that one character was in love with another without saying I love you. That's kind of difficult. But Gene figured it out. Because he's a sneaky bastard. I mean, oh, it's so brilliant. Give new meaning to a different phrase. And then have a character use that phrase. Oh, that's brilliant. That is so brilliant. And only one episode apart, too. Only one episode. I mean, the Charlie X precedent took, like, over half the season to get fulfilled. This one episode. Back to back. This was not a mistake. It was the exact words. It was one episode apart. This was not a mistake. It happened. Right there. And I didn't even have to make it up. I mean, I told you I wasn't going to make up anything. Because clearly, I don't have to.